The psychologists tell us that pattern recognition is one of the earliest signs and most important signs of intelligence. I mean, pretty early on, people had to learn the difference between a man-eating tiger and an apple tree. Well, the LA Times has taken pattern recognition to a whole new level on some places. I mean, over the last week or so, just on the pages of the LA Times, look at some of the stories we've seen. We've seen stories about black presidents, Black Lives Matter, some story about black coins, black leaders, black operas, black murals, black books, black TV shows, black hockey players, black t-shirts, black district attorneys, black victims of white police violence. This is a long list. Black people who are offended at watermelons, black culture with Oprah, black awards in the movie business, and black United States senators. And so the LA Times, they're just about like every other paper in the country, they're hypersensitive to this pattern of black activity, and no matter what field it is in, except for one field, and that is the area of black crime. The LA Times did a story just 2 days ago about teen violence at malls all across the country. They talked about how these malls, dozens and dozens of malls, are instituting curfews because of the teens. Well, we've documented here on more than 100 occasions in both of my books how on Christmas, the weeks before Christmas, the weeks after Christmas, the weeks before Memorial Day, after Memorial Day, July the 4th, malls are sites, shopping malls are opportunities and scenes of large-scale black mob violence all across the country. Hundreds of them, hundreds. And the LA Times runs a story, the most race-conscious newspaper in the country runs a story where they totally ignore that all of the violence at the malls they're talking about is a black thing. There aren't any white kids running around. There aren't any gangs of Asian kids or Amish kids. This is a black thing over and over and over. We see it on the videotape over and over and over. We see it on the videotape in these latest 3 examples from the last couple days.
News at 10.
A big scare at a Westside shopping center prompted a major police response and led to a mass exodus of shoppers. Good evening, everybody. I'm Elsa Ramon.
And I'm Peter Dow. Reports of a gunman at the mall triggered the panic. KCAL9's Jennifer Castor is live at Westfield, Culver City. Jennifer.
Yeah, it was just chaos at the mall tonight. Nobody really knew what was going on. At one point, there was even a rumor that there was an active shooter inside of the mall just behind me. This happened at about 5:30. The mall closed at about 9 o'clock tonight, but there's still a lot of people inside right now, mostly security personnel and management, making sure everything is safe and taken care of before the end of the night.
Because they kept yelling like, get out the mall, get out the mall.
Police rushed to clear out the massive Westfield Culver City shopping center tonight after panic ensued inside. Several calls coming in about a man with a gun in the mall. Cell phone video shows a group of people running on the upper floor. The person who shot this says there were around 100 of them, mostly teenagers, and they were screaming.
Oh, because kids was running like towards Nordstrom's, towards that way of the mall.
Out of nowhere, like a whole bunch of people started running, and then you would just hear guards yelling, and then you would look over again, and then people kept running. Like, it was just weird. Nobody really knew what was happening, and then the next thing you know, all these cops with like huge guns came out of nowhere, and they're like walking around the mall.
A shopper told us that stores immediately started locking customers inside.
They closed all the stores down, so we were like sitting like, on the benches and stuff on the side. Yeah, so all the stores were closed. The food court was like closed.
Police didn't find a gunman or any evidence of shots fired, but tell us a bunch of fights broke out in the parking lot of the mall. And we just got an update about those fights. Police say about 150 teenagers were outside of the mall fighting tonight, some by the valet area, some by a nearby gas station, so it took officers a while to disperse those crowds. We also heard from some teenagers this may have been an organized fight that was posted on Instagram, but police don't know anything about that.
of what this scene looked like. And we really got a lot of indications as to what happened here. It was all because, at least according to police, of some unruly teens causing trouble. Now, we've seen the posts all over social media, some of you sharing cell phone video, just really what you just saw.
Yeah, we're asking questions about what had happened. Fox Carolina's Shale Romina has been talking with some people who were actually at the mall last night. And Shale, what have they been telling you tonight?
Well, Derek and Sarah, we spoke to many people today, all of which they say they were simply shocked by what unfolded. Right up onto Facebook and go to any Upstate social media page and you'll see a lot of chatter about the Anderson Mall, and that's because we know some teenagers started fights in and outside of that mall. Police I spoke to today say there was no major property damages and no serious injuries.
It's the craziest thing I've ever seen around here.
It was not your average night at Anderson Mall on Saturday evening. Shoppers being rushed out after they saw a series of fights happening right in front of them. Most tell us they had plenty of worry and shock to go around after what they just saw.
This is crazy.
Get out of the road.
Anderson police tell us a large group of unruly teenagers led to the mall closing its doors at least an hour early.
They closed all the stores down.
We're going to try to go up back here to the mall. They're running people out of there.
This video from a witness on Facebook shows what's happening. Here he is describing the scene.
So from what I understand, if y'all are listening to this, it started out inside the mall. Apparently it started out with two guys chasing each other, and then it ended up being a mob of 30 plus kids fighting in the middle of the mall.
Police say it all began with two separate fights, causing police and mall security to intervene and make the groups leave the mall. Some were told even tried to get back in after they left.
Then they all are jumping on people's cars.
Yeah, they were on top of people's cars.
Pictures, videos, and stories of what happened are all over social media. One person on the Upstate Crime Facebook page, who was also there Saturday, said it was, quote, very, very sad. I was almost certain someone was going to open fire in the mall. People were running in all directions. I'm just glad we are okay, but most importantly, that the kids are okay. We're told EMS did tend to someone who had an asthma attack while all of this was going on, but that was it. No injuries, and so far, no one under arrest.
Two teens shot outside the Jacksonville landing, one of them critically hurt. We were on the ground and in the air as JSO shut down the landing to investigate. Video of the aftermath shows just how close the shooting was. You can see the glass doors of the landing shattered from gunshots. Witnesses say they ran for cover when those shots rang out.
There's a guy laying on the ground and there's a pool of blood around him, and one of JSO's standing there with.
We're gonna grab some information from you too, okay, sir? So if you have any identification on you, and it's the same case, if you choose not to identify yourself, take it into custody, take it out of SP lines, roll fingerprint, and photograph you until we can see
I didn't know what it was, but all these young people are running around screaming.
A 13-year-old boy was shot but is expected to survive. A 16-year-old was critically hurt.
Tonight, JSO is looking for the shooter and needs your help tracking them down. Here's what we know. Right now, the Jacksonville landing remains closed. The shooting happened in front of the landing around 4 this afternoon. Police have not released any information on the suspect, but did say they're questioning several people. We have live team coverage. We hear from witnesses and talk to our crime and safety expert. We begin with Action News Jack's Cole Heath. And Cole, you not only spoke to witnesses, but a family member of one of the shooting victims.
I spoke exclusively with the aunt of the victim who was shot in the leg. We're told that he is in stable condition. A little while ago, we just showed you those photos of that shattered window of the glass here at the landing. And within the last hour or so, crews have actually come out to repair the damage that has been done. But as for the people who experienced this incident, that damage done inside is still very fresh.
I hear pop, 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 and then I see people running.
I seen the door get shot out. I mean, I didn't actually watch nobody click, click, click.
The whole landing is put on lockdown.
This guy shot, man. He shot in the face.
Eyewitness accounts and cell phone video captured the fear at the landing.
One is a 13-year-old male who is suffering from a non-life-threatening gunshot wound. The other is a 16-year-old male with a life-threatening gunshot wound.
I'm horrified.
Stephanie Mills says her nephew took a bullet to the leg. Her son was also there. Was there like a fight or like guys?
It was an argument.
I seen the window being shot out. I was standing right there.
This man, who goes by Sarge, says he witnessed the shooting. He says he saw the victims asking JSO officers for help moments before the violence started.
Once the officer said, "We got you," then the shots rung out.
That's when witnesses say the officers jumped into action and the shooter took off in a car, leaving 2 teens, including Mill's nephew, behind.
I just send my prayers out to everyone that was in the incident, even the child, that parents that, have something to do with this.
Large-scale violence at malls all across the country is a black thing. Apparently, the Los Angeles Times doesn't understand that. Or maybe they do understand it. And they're just not telling us because they just don't want to make the black kids angry.